All right. Hello, everyone, and now welcome to a game Cement versus Inspired. This game taking place here on Shallow Grave 1.4. Game getting underway here. I'm gonna go ahead and back up just a little bit, not too far out, but enough to see all of the action as Cement has spawned as the orange undead at the 10 o'clock position. Meanwhile, Inspired all the way on the other side of the map, spawning as the green human. Eagle-eyed viewers will notice that, well, my computer has moved and, well, just trying new layouts, trying to maximize the space in my home. Fortunate enough that, well, I'm able to well, move around things in my office and still have room for the children and my wife, who's also now occasionally working from home. So, yep, things all getting lined up and of that nature as we're setting up here the barracks, the altar of kings, and a couple of farms now being placed down. Off to the north, we are looking at a crypt, altar of darkness, tomb of relics, and a ziggurat. Hero choice is going to be most likely a death knight. Let's see. No, Lich first coming in from Cement in a human matchup. Interestingly enough, meanwhile, it is going to be an Archmage. So we are going for that classic or classic battle of the brains here. Not a classic human versus undead matchup, but classic battle of the brains as things are now well underway. Let's see how all of this is going to be unfolding here in just a moment as we are getting closer to that 2-minute mark and this game will be getting into position. All right, I gotta say, like, now that I, I can, I'm trying to clean up my desk and like trying to get like all of my casting things. Things are just like an inch or two off, and it just feels off, right? Like your brain and your body just looks like you're used to like turning your head like 12 degrees, and now you're like, oh, I need to turn my head like 17 degrees at that extra 5 degrees, which doesn't sound like a lot, actually affecting me quite a bit. So getting used to this new casting position, this casting style, as the Archmage going to go after this Forest Troll Warlord creep camp down to the south. All right. Also, the lighting is a little bit different here, so hopefully this works for you guys. If it doesn't, well, please keep on watching, as I do need the viewers and all of the support that you guys have been so generously donating, either through Twitch, through YouTube. I don't even know what the YouTube tipping application is, but thank you for those who are using the YouTube, the super cheers or the super comments, I believe. And, well, my Patreons and everyone out there who has just been doing so much to continue giving me reason to cast WarCraft 3. So thank you for the support. Without you, I wouldn't be doing this, and, well, but even without you, I would still be okay. As well, taking care of the family and whatnot. All right, I feel like I'm talking a lot. I'm not quite sure why. Anyways, Lich coming back around here, Rod of Necromancy, a handful of skeletal minions, Dark Ritual, that opening ability, that second ability, allowing that Lich to be topped out on mana, and should be able to get off quite a number of Frost Novas on some totally suspecting footmen once they are in position. Lich is looking for the human player looking for the Lich, and they end up passing each other in the middle without finding each other. So some Inspired dodging a bit of a bullet there, as his expansion is going to end up getting pressured by his opponent. Archmage gets up to level 3, drops down a level 2 water elemental to put pressure here. Meanwhile, there is pressure inside the base as well. Coming back across here, Rod of Necromancy, more peasants are going to get cleaned up as we're looking at, well, this expansion taking a little bit of a beating. But what is happening in the main base, Cement is actually going after a fair number of units, and now, well, continuing to Frost Nova and rack up damage. We should have been seeing more Dark Rituals perhaps onto some other skeletal minions, as new ghouls are now making its way across, and Cement perhaps doesn't know that he still has all of these queued into his opponent's base, and this could be a little bit of trouble, as the militia will just turn back around and clean up these ghouls easily. Lich now being forced to retreat all the way back. No more Rod of Necromancy to get additional, well, skeletal minions out onto the battlefield to replenish that mana, as we are going into, well, selling that Talisman of Evasion and that Ring of Protection +3, and instead going in for Boots of Speed. Bit of a weird exchange right there, Archmage already sitting at level 3 and now going to continue to put in more pressure on the expansion at the 9 o'clock location. Archmage with plenty of mana because of that brilliance aura, and also having the backup with that replenishment potion, as the ghouls are already going to quickly come back around and surround. All right, low hit point ghouls already retreating back here. Are we going to be looking at a potion of healing? Yes, we are. Potion of healing trying to break its way free. Lich has plenty of mana, though. Should be able to get off a Frost Nova, and that is the takedown there. Level 3 on the Lich. The Archmage selling that Scroll of Town Portal early, not having a get out of jail free card, and now really taking quite a beating. Lich continuing to make its way out across here. The Dark Ritual currently on cooldown. Lich is going to try and continue to catch up, rack up more damage there, perhaps also finish off that Water Elemental as well, as that Water Elemental down to 96 hit points, down to 66. 2 more shot, 1 more shot, and that's going to be denied there as the Lich is back out onto the battlefield. There goes a big Frost Nova. Lich going after the Archmage. Archmage, however, does not have Boots of Speed. Lich has the Boots of Speed trying to catch up, as the Archmage, may be in a little bit of pain and hurt. Archmage looking to, use that replenishment potion and use it effectively, as the Lich does get an auto attack off to try and disrupt that healing. Lich off to the races, so to speak, as the Archmage does not have Boots of Speed, and those Boots of Speed really making that Lich light on his feet. So many auto attacks, so much damage, as the Force Troll Berserker does get in the way in time. Potion of healing picked up from the Arcane Vault, and that will now be backed off. Tech to Tier 2 has just now been started by Cement, as he is waiting for that Haunted Gold Mine to be completed. Nerubian Tower is there. No Spirit Tower, however, to support, as the Lich now back up to 100 mana and should be ready to put in more Frost Novas here momentarily. Back off to the north, Archmage now fighting alongside a Beastmaster with Quill Beast, ready to put down pressure onto this expansion once more. All right, Haunted Goldmine only needs about 5 more seconds to be completed, but it is going to be taking a beating once again, as the Force Troll Shadow Priest trying to keep up that Archmage all nicely topped off. Lich could easily rack up more damage. Instead, goes after that Force Troll Shadow Priest instead of going after the Archmage, removing the healing source as opposed to that main target. All right, Force Troll Berserker could easily get taken down. One more shot, and it does fall there. Meanwhile, Lich continuing to fight its way through. Acolytes all getting cleaned up, and now we are looking at only a handful of footmen, as the ghouls are trying to go to town here. All right, Nerubian Tower, you could try and, change auto attacks to slow down multiple targets, but that is very micro-intensive indeed, as there is just so many units to go around. Lich could easily finish off another unit there. There's a low hit point footman. There's another low hit point footman. 2 footmen completely cleaned up here. 28 supply compared to 24, as that footman does get cleaned up once more. Nerubian Tower still working out quite a bit of damage, trying to slow down auto attacks on multiple units as a ghoul gets taken down. And the Beastmaster now sits at level 2, summoning up a bear. Archmage continuing to battle it through here. Lich sitting at level 3, solo Lich trying to rack up more damage, trying to go after that Archmage here, and that Archmage will be able to break free even though it doesn't have those Boots of Speed. Beastmaster still trying to go after some of those low hit point ghouls, and those ghouls are getting cleaned up as well. Inspired playing a beautiful game here, but the Beastmaster now down to his 42 hit points. 1 or 2 more auto attacks should do it, as the Lich gets up to level 4. Level 4 Lich should be using up a Rod of Necromancy and then using a Dark Ritual on that Rod, or on that Skeletal Minion here in just a moment. There it is. Now going after the Water Elemental there, but the Water Elemental dying to time to life. Coming back through the other way, Archmage coming back the other side here. Lich still has, needs a little bit more time, and then could Dark Ritual an actual ghoul if he really needed that extra bit of mana, as the bear now continuing to retreat back down to 28 hit points. It is going to fall. Acolyte. One Acolyte now making its way over. Tech to Tier 2 has completed, so Acolytes can now be trained. Back at the home of the human, we are going into an Arcane Sanctum. No Blacksmith, though, as I would have suspected. And now, instead, Inspired, pivoting into an expansion instead of trying to continue to put that pressure. All right, this will give the Undead player a little bit of time to get that Death Knight out onto the battlefield and level up, get those Obsidian statues, and the Undead army is going to look significantly different at the end of this, at the end of this particular, in their next engagement, I should say. 32 supply compared to 40. Cement now getting near full saturation onto this gold mine. 2 more acolytes will be needed to train on up, perhaps even summoning up some more ziggurats as well to turn them into spirit towers, as cement is currently supply blocked at 40 over 40. Death Knight now going after some of these other ghouls. Here we are getting up a 1 obsidian statue, and I am surprised that cement, after all this time, is still sitting in 40 supply instead of trying to break into that 50 range and setting up that additional ziggurat. Coming back around, Beastmaster still sitting at level 2, Archmage sitting at level 4. Death Knight going to quickly get to level 2 here after this Rock Golem creep camp. I believe even if the Lich does stay nearby, there's enough experience between the remaining creeps to give level 2 to that Death Knight with Unholy Aura. That Unholy Aura will allow the undead army to move just that much faster and continue to chase after any units that are slowed down by that Frost Nova. All right, Rock Golem going to get finished off here. Lich picks up a Wand of the Wind, not the item he was looking for, as we are going to be perhaps going into an engagement now. All right, are we going to go into an engagement, going after some of those units? There goes a Death Coil. Frost Nova trying to finish off one Sorceress, already getting taken down. 32 supply compared to 40. Cement with a serious advantage, as we see Book of the Dead now being used by the human player. So Undead now turning things back around, causing the Lich to have a little bit of problems. Lich now in trouble. He's getting surrounded by a Book of the Dead swarm, and he could perhaps not be able to break free. Down to 219 hit points after the Death Coil. So he was down to 19 hit points and ends up surviving. All right, continuing this fight here. Once more, Obsidian Statue was continuing to top off. Level 3 now on the Beastmaster, as both sides still fighting their way through. Water Elemental gets taken down. Death Knight sitting at level 2. No Wand of the Wind being used as of yet to try and lower all of that damage output. Lich is still playing a very dangerous game. Goblin Zeppelin going to go in and pick him up as the Death Knight, well, finishes off a Sorceress there. Their 43 supply compared to 35. It feels as though Cement is playing a very, very dangerous game indeed. That Zeppelin, well, holding a low hit point Lich and a low hit point Crypt Fiend. That 8 supply right there could have easily been cleaned up, as we're going into a new Obsidian Statue, and now sitting at 49 over 60 supply with a Ziggurat now upgrading to a Spirit Tower, but it may not be there in time. New Acolyte could be trained up over here as well to try and get full saturation. No reason not to, as Cement does have one more supply available before going and before reaching the limit of no upkeep. Down to the south side here, Archmage sitting at 4, Beastmaster sitting at 3, Death Knight, well, gonna get very close to level 3 after this 4-1 creep camp here. Lich also gonna get very close to level 5. I believe both will actually be just a bit shy after this. Well, nope. Death Knight getting up to level 3 with that level 2 Death Coil, and now that Lich is going to be able to stick around and be much more difficult to take out. Remember, though, he does have level 2 Dark Ritual over level 1 Frost Armor and level 1 Dark Ritual, meaning that he's not going to be able to protect himself with that additional armor and survivability that Frost Armor often provides. All right, a Death Knight continuing to do a bit of creeping here. Doesn't look like looks like the Lich is purposely staying away. Maybe we're gonna make its way over after the Forest Troll Warlord gets taken down, allowing the Forest Troll Trapper to give. Nope, not gonna allow the Forest Troll Trapper to get to level 5. All right, we'll see if that an opening level 3 Dark Rich or level 3 Frost Nova would have been better, or having that Death Knight getting that much closer to level 4 instead. All right, I'm going to go straight after that Ogre Magi creep. Ogre Magi here. Ogre Magi now with negative armor. Death Knight selling some items, picking up a potion of lesser invulnerability. Lich now should be backing away and going to go ahead and back away, perhaps finishing things off as the Death Knight trying to get closer and closer to level 4. Human army ready to go ahead and engage against the undead. Well, said no human army ever, as he tries to dive on in against this necropolis. All right, here we are. Here we go. Beastmaster, Spellbreaker, Scroll of Town Portal. Bears are trying to well, dive in here. Scroll of Town Portal in position. Gonna perhaps take down that Raging Bear. Acolytes quickly repairing here. One Water Elemental taken down. This Raging Bear should easily get finished off by the, well, Spirit Towers in position here. Are we going to see a Death Coil to try and get that last bit of experience? Or Frost Nova? Nope, letting the towers do the job. Back down to this, off to the 3 o'clock side. Inspired does have his expansion up and operational as well. So no big loss economically. 10,200 gold compared to 9,700. Only about a minute of mining difference, as the human army and undead army are, well, very close in a size. 59 supply compared to 50, but with Inspired sitting on a bank of about 1,200 gold, can easily close up on that difference, as I said. Ogre Lord gonna get cleaned up here. Beastmaster gonna get up to level 4 here. Level 2 Quill Beast gonna be incredibly important. But one thing we still haven't seen is a serious number of destroyers to go after this, well, summoning strategy of the human player. The more summons that are out on the battlefield, the more powerful destroyers get, as they're able to devour magic. And remember, that devour magic also replenishes hit points on that destroyer. So even if there is a good number of flying machines out there, the destroyer can then easily just replenish some hit points while dealing some serious damage. Destroyer now looking to retreat back here. There's a big death coil, and in comes a fight here. A little bit of out of position for the undead here, as there is a bit of home field advantage for the human player. Both sides fighting their way through. Destroyer trying to retreat back here. Low hit point Destroyer getting retreated all the way back down to 251 hit points. A little bit of focus fire here, as the webs are now bringing them all down. 61 supply compared to 58. Both sides still fighting their way through, as we see Cyclone picking up one of the win, picking up that Archmage. Both sides continuing to fight here, as the Lich could get down some big Frost Novas onto some of those totally suspecting priests, but a beautiful scroll of healing to try and keep all of those priests alive and well. Beastmasters have been trying to web down those flying machines, but have not been able to do enough there, as the Destroyer now being forced to retreat back. Frost Nova going down onto the Archmage, but the Archmage still staying relatively strong here, as Cement is going to be forced to retreat back. 50 over 70 supply. Destroyer gets left behind, and that could be a major loss, down to 73 hit points, and he is flying, running for home, desperately trying to get well. Death Knight does not have a death coil, as that Destroyer, are we going to see 2 webs? 1, 2, and well, that, talk about a save right there. All right. 5 supplies saved. That a little bit of experience could have given the Beastmaster level 5, as the Paladin now also joining in on the battlefield. 57 supply compared to 61. Both sides pretty even overall. I don't see a third hero coming in from the undead. No unit walking over to the tavern to try and train up that Dark Ranger either. All right, Death Knight, just a little bit shy of level 5 here. That level 5 would have been would have made a big drastic difference. Level 3 Death Coil, as we're looking at, well, perhaps some Devour magic needs to go down. Death Knight now trying to heal up here. Health bars just taking up space everywhere here, as the Crypt Fiend gets taken down as well. There goes one Sorceress. Death Knight now needs to retreat back. Does have a Potion of Lesser Invulnerability if he wants to try and use it, as both sides are fighting their way through. 50 supply compared to 60. Both sides continuing to fight back and forth, as priests are trying to dive on in as well. Mortar teams lobbing their attacks. No Banshees or unarmored units, but still effective against well, those obsidian statues that are keeping this army together. More lobbing attacks in. Bears continue to get taken down, but they are getting devoured here, giving mana to the destroyers. And once the destroyers have mana, they're able to deal even more damage to the water elementals, and more importantly, the knights, as abominations are, Abomination finishing off that flying machine there. All right, massive retreat pushing back the other way. It really felt like Cement was up against the ropes, and now suddenly Inspired grabs a Paladin, and now he is getting pushed back very heavily. Invisibility on a mortar team. Paladin trying to keep more and more units alive. Death Knight doesn't have enough for a death coil on that Paladin, but a Frost Nova from behind finishes it off. All right, 2 obsidian statues in the back here. Need to give more mana to the remaining undead heroes. More Devour magic here. Level 6 now on the Lich. Level 6 Lich, is he going to go for Death and Decay or level 3 Dark Ritual? That is the question, as both sides are fighting their way through. Flying Machine's going to go after the Destroyer pretty easily, taking one down in no time flat. Flying Machines, well, able to charge in after instead of getting webbed down. And once again, suddenly inspired, having the closer reinforcements, being able to push back the other way again. Cement doing Cement perhaps pushing a little bit too far, as the Archmage could be in trouble, down to 126 hit points. Death Knight being forced to use a Potion of Lesser Invulnerability as well. Both sides sticking around in this battle for a little bit too long, as we could be looking at a Frost Nova going down on that Archmage. All right, both sides still fighting their way through. Spirit Bear blinking past to get to the Death Knight. Beastmaster going to get taken down. There it goes, as the Death Knight, now down to 122 hit points, needs to get healed up. Beastmaster falls at level 5, as the Lich now retreating back. Unholy Aura in a massive, well, retreat mode. Flying Machine getting in the Devour Magic after the Bears and that Water Elemental, trying to go back after those Flying Machines here. Webs should be thrown down onto those Flying Machines, as we see the Death Knight down to 53 hit points and somehow still sticking around in this fight. There is no Obsidian Statues. Holy Light on the Paladin snipes down the Death Knight, and that Death Knight was just staying too close to the Holy Man there, as the Death Knight's 100 hit point nuke able to finish off that Death Knight, who was sitting at 51 hit points and really not backing away. Lich, however, could finish off that Paladin here if it just needs a little bit more attacks once more. Paladin is currently invisible, though, as we are looking at that Goblin Shredder down to 147 hit points and ends up surviving. All right, Archmage could be in trouble. There's a Holy Light. There's a Potion of Healing. Damage is getting racked up here. So much damage getting added on through. Scroll of Town Portal for a little bit of last second healing, as the Lich is hoping to get off another Frost Nova there, and does end up hitting the Archmage, getting to level 7, and that is the GG. All right, Cement ends up with the win. Death Knights falling, heroes falling, so many lead changes, so many back and forths, but ultimately in the end, the Beastmaster and Archmage fell on the human side. Lich was able to just stick around, and that was a beautiful, beautiful game going back and forth. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed it.